Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of the Referee Show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Bass, and I'm joined by two FIFA and CONCACAF officials in Mienza and Crystal. First of all, ladies, thank you very much for taking the chance to taking the time to discuss officiating. But let's start off with you, Crystal. What has been some of the things that keeps you going in officiating? Because it's always a challenge, in anything you do in life. But in officiating, it can get tough sometimes. So what keeps you going?
I will have to say it will be the years of training and getting fit. It's like now that you're fit, why will I let that waste? so, so it have to be on the field, and that is what keeps me going. Being able to continually train and execute what I've learned, the technical abilities on the field. Yeah, and of course the overall love for the game. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you because I'm going to ask you a question about being fit. Yenza, Yenza, what about you? What keeps driving you to want to continue officiating?
Just like what Krista said, it's the same. You don't want to start over, and with fitness, you don't want to go low. You have to keep going because to start over, it's harder.
Mm,
Yes.
okay, so I'm going to ask you both. How long did it take you to feel as if you were at the peak of your fitness? Because although you might pass a fitness test, don't necessarily mean that you're fit. So when did you feel as if you were comfortable with the fitness you were in and making you feel the way you feel right now? So and Mianza, you can answer first.
So I don't know if I can add a whole long, but you have to keep training because sometimes some days you have your low days and some days you have your days where you're really motivated and you can go up, up, up. And some of the days you have some of the low days where you try to do, for example, a fitness test and you reach, for example, 9 laps and you're like, okay, I have to do more. And in 2 or maybe in 2 weeks you reach 11 laps, so it's more about your motivation for the day and for the reason.
Mm, mm. Crystal?
Ah, for me, it is both match fitness and the normal training that you will do. My peak fitness comes in when I have matches in between.
Mm,
Like, let's say for 2 years ago with the whole COVID situation, I wasn't at where I'm at now. I used to just train. Is a difference,
right.
So now that I'm doing games because I'm in Jamaica currently. I mean, my first game, I was like, okay, it's a good thing you have something in the bag. So now, my second, I can say yes. You will feel it. Is a difference. Is a difference when you have those two combined. Yes,
Mm. Well,
yes.
well, Crystal, while you got your mic open, what got you into the officiating side of football?
What is?
What got you involved in the officiating side of football?
Oh, you remember being a player? I was a player. I was a football player for Trinidad, and because of the level of the football, like I just fed up waste my time. So yeah, refereeing.
Was more of a challenge?
Yes, it definitely. I didn't expect all of this package, but okay, if it come with it, yes.
Me and so when someone gave you the whistle for the first time, or you thought to take up the whistle for the first time, did you see this particular journey getting as far as you have thus far?
No,
No, no, no. But everything comes with more.
What was your first game, your ever first game that you could remember, whether it been a youth game or whatever game? What was some of the things that stood out for you that made you feel as if, yeah, I could do this?
Me?
Yes, yes.
Being a leader on the field of play, so and players by that time players were respecting referees. So that was like, okay, I can try it. I can go further. So it looks nice, but when you go up on the international level, then there are more expectations. So then you have to keep on going on the expectations. So there was it.
Sure, sure. And Crystal, who's been a big supporter of yours in encouraging you to reach the goals?
Outside of my parents, who I mean, yeah, I don't know. I always pray and ask God that I have the parents that I have.
Mm,
Because even at my weakest moment, they know exactly what to say. you
mm,
know and outside of my parents, to tell you, I before I was a FIFA referee, and I now was joined into the elites of Trinidad. There's Peter Prendergast. So my first rap and my
yes.
first game, that, oh my gosh, these people put me in the nest. I had now came off of the referee course. And when Mr. Prendergast see dotishness, he tells you as it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And from there, he was, he still guides me along. You're wrong. This is how it goes. This is where it's supposed to be. Whether wrong or right,
Hmm.
he for himself, the motivation that he gives you, because at the end of the day, he always say, we are human beings. And that really helped me say, okay, there's mistakes, don't take it up on yourself, just learn from it and continue. And
Sure.
that, up to this day, I have been going. Yeah.
Good. Okay. We are joined by Stefan. Stefan, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. How are you?
Not a problem at all. I've asked the ladies here what drives them and keeps them continuing in the sport as an official. What keeps you going as an official?
Ah, well, firstly, it's the love for the sport, and so if if you enjoy what you're doing, then it's never work, right?
Uh,
You never
okay.
work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do, and
Mm,
so football was is my first love, and the passion for the sport is what keeps me in this field, so to speak, literally and figuratively.
right, right. Mienza, let me ask you: when you're being assessed, and because Crystal mentioned Peter Pendergrass, and he's high up on everyone's list. Do you feel added pressure when someone like that is around evaluating what you're doing?
The fans sometimes you can feel the pressure, but it's for the good, because you have to learn from that. You have to have someone who is guiding you. You have to have someone who is looking at you, what you are doing, and that's how you can be a better person. That's how you can be better on what you're doing. So I feel okay with that.
Okay, all right. Stefan, for you, when you first started out officiating at I would say at the domestic level, what was some of the things you struggled with rule wise that now you're so comfortable with you don't even think about it? You gotta unmute. You gotta unmute.
Sorry.
No
Um,
problem.
in terms of the rules, struggles with the rules. I'm a police officer. Yeah,
Okay.
I I was never a person who struggled with rules. And I'm not trying to sound like there's no chink in my armor, but in terms of the rules, I believe in discipline. I
Hmm.
believe in commitment to training. So these things for me is is about motivating me to get out there, put out what I need to put out to get to this level. When I started, this was what I envisioned, and so I knew what I wanted, and as a result, you just have to conform to what is in terms of officiating. You have to conform. It is what it is, and I believe that us as officials from the get-go, we are the ones who will keep the standard of the game at a level, or we'll try to take the standard of the game in local football in Jamaica. We are the ones who either cause the standard to fall. No, not cause. Let me not say cause, but we can assist in pulling the standards up. I believe that from day one, and so I got right to it, and I had no issues with the rules, with whatever was the training regime. I mean, it's difficult sometimes to get up and drive across the island for a training session, but it is what it is. It is what you envisioned. It is what you chose. It is the job.
Crystal, what about you? What did you struggle with at the beginning?
In the beginning, I still struggling. My thing that I struggle with, you see, when those players and technical staff are disrespectful and the official Crystal Sobers cannot respond how I would like to respond. Sometimes I feel those cards just ain't working. Trust me. So
So does Crystal Silvers have a parents on her shoulder telling you cannot?
no. Honestly, I still struggle with that because I mean we are all there on the field trying to be professional. You know, sometimes the words that they use is just so it's just sometimes over the board. You know, so yes, I because of discipline and professionalism. Yes, I've learned to maneuver it and ignore, but I still tell you my facial expression sometimes will answer them to what I really want to tell them. So that's how, yeah, that's how they get it sometimes.
Yeah, something else. Bianza, let me ask you, when you first got your first international call up, what were some of the things you were concerned, or everyone gets nervous about, you know, the first time something's going to happen. What were some of the things you were saying to yourself to ensure, even before you left to head to that international call up, that you had to make sure that you were comfortable with in performing the duties that everyone knew you had the capabilities of doing, because that's why you got the call up. But what did you struggle with on the mental side?
So the first thing was English, because in Suriname we speak Dutch, and Crystal know about it because my English was bad. And you know, being in the field of play, you have colleagues, you need to communicate. If you see something, you need to tell them. So that was one of the first thing. And the second thing was um, recognize some of the rules, the law of the games. So when I was a player, because I was also a player. When I was a player, it was something else. But now you have to read about the law of the game. You have to put it in your head, and you have to know when you have to apply the law of the game. So that was one of the things. And you can think maybe you can use one at a time, but if the situation is happening, you need to apply the law of the game. So that was some of the things that where I was struggling with. But now I'm on another level, and I was keep working on it. My English, the law of the game, and it worked. Yes.
Crystal, you put her through the test to get her English up?
Yeah, she is great.
Stefan, you said, you know, as a police officer, you started off, but did you ever play the game?
Yeah, I did. So I got my first pair of football boots when I was 6 years old. One of the studs was broken off. So I started at about age 6 in Jamaica on what the surfaces are in the communities in Jamaica. Yes, I played the game. And
So,
that's where it all started for me.
You make the transition from player to official.
So I must say, one of the things that I still struggle with right now is, for example, a skillful player carries out some fancy skill on an opponent. I have to try my best to conceal my reaction, because I become a fan in that moment. Yeah, yeah, because that's how we do it on the playing field. You know what I mean? And when something like that happens, then you have to, you as the referee, you can't be seen enjoying it.
Right.
So that is That's really one of the things. But from player to official, I was always kind of the referee as a player
Mm.
while playing idly. But I was one of the worst players to officiate
Wow.
while being a player because
Ah,
I'm a bit nippy.
right.
I can recall being really nippy to my teammates, to the opponents, to the officials. So um, I had to really calm down, tone it down.
Right.
Even now, I have to tone it down, and they tell me
Yeah.
that Stefan, you're not a police on the field, and you have to bring it right down. So yeah, the transition wasn't so smooth for me
Mm.
from player because there are some things that as a player you really believe in the spirit of the game, and that's not a foul, man. Let's go. And as an official, it's a foul.
Right.
It's a foul. But as a that so in right in that little gray area, I stood there for a little while. That
Right.
leave that alone, man. Let's go. He was idle with the ball and deserved to be fouled. There are these things happened in
Yes.
my
Yes.
mind when I
Yeah.
was younger. He deserved to be fouled and take that, and we're going with the game. You're not getting that foul. And
Right.
so these are the things that I struggled with that even now sometimes they kind of pop up and I have to keep them at bay.
Now, the laws of the game change, from time to time, from year to year. Do you feel as if with the implementation of the VAR, which will be used in the women's World Cup qualifiers, the under 20s, and international games coming up, especially in our region, do you think it kind of makes the referee a little more, or the officials a little more relaxed in making a decision because they have that kind of quote unquote backup? I see Crystal. Crystal? No.
I hear that. You always like to tie my foot first, and I recognize that.
In your face, it's just,
But I have a personal thing with the VAR though,
Mhm.
because yes, with this introduced, I mean, it's not supposed to make the referees relax, but this is what we have been seeing. I've
Mhm.
never used it, but I can only comment on what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, who is VAR? And the human beings is not robots behind there, because yes, we see VAR still make mistakes. So
Mhm.
then why do we have this double standard going on where we all want to enjoy the game? So I'll keep it short because VAR is a part of.
Well, I only asked that, and I'll let the other two answer as well. But I only asked that because when the replay system and everything was introduced to cricket, you saw a lot of the officials not running into position for runouts, not paying attention to a lot of the smaller details, and it started to cost the game because it's clear. I mean, they've gotten better because they now realize that you still have to you still have to do what you got to do, but it made them lazy in a fact where they knew they had a backup kind of thing. So, Mienza, what's your take on the VAR?
There's a positive way, and it also, in my interpretation, there's a positive way, and it also has a because just like what you said, referees are being too relaxed because they think of their backup. But on the other side, VAR also make mistakes. So you need to be in the best position. That's why you train. You need to be in the best position to see what you can see. VAR can help you with, and it's for the good of the game, for good results. But the other thing is also that a takeaway of some of the is it the how you call it? I can't find a word to say it, but about the heat of the game, I can't find the right word for it, but the game self, right? Because if for everything you call VR, it's not nice anymore. So you as as an official, you need to be in the right position to see everything, so that the game, everybody can respect you more because they know you see things, you're there. So that's the best thing. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Staffing is almost like a police officer's dream of having everything captured on camera. So what's your take on VAR?
Well, well, what you want as a policeman, if something is captured on camera, is that it shows that you are right. That's
Yeah,
what that's what you want. So
yeah.
I I really don't believe that any official goes into a game and thinks that I have VAR, so let me get comfortable. Right? I
Mm,
really don't think that is the case. We all want to be correct. We want that video to show that we were correct.
mm,
And the only way to show that we were correct is, as Biensa said, be where we need to be and where the
mm,
game needs us. So I really don't think the referees will relax. I really don't think any referee should take VAR, even though it's some amount of insurance that you get the call right. But I'm certain that the person who is grading you will still see that you were not where you needed to be, or you misinterpreted what happened. And so the issue is, or for me, I want the camera to see me being correct, not
mm.
correcting me. So I don't
Right.
think anyone will relax with the
Mm,
VAR. And
mm.
as the ladies said, we still get them wrong even with VAR. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Mienza, what position did you play?
In the back left.
Okay, so let me ask you, because now that you're an official, are you a, a defender's referee or a striker's referee?
All
because
around.
when, because when you play a position, you kind of feel sometimes the referee got that wrong, or the referee assistant got that wrong because I won the ball because I came from this angle, and so you become more lenient on the defender side. Sometimes, are you a defender referee or an attacker's referee?
Um, I just do the game. I just apply the law of the game. It's, if foul is foul. I don't
True.
think about no. The only thing I can see is that I can see that this defender, he's going to attack, or this player, he's going to go for a yellow card, or he's going hard. Because you know, when you see, for example, ball is coming in the air, you know, this back player, she
Uh-huh.
or he will go for it, and you can feel the heat that something
Right.
can happen.
Right.
Because I was also a player, so that is one of the things you can recognize. Yes.
What about you, Crystal?
Yeah, I was also a defender, right back.
Uh-huh.
Um, so with being that, coming from that, I am more the protective side of refereeing. I talk to my players, whether all age groups,
Mm-hmm.
because especially as Mimi just said, when you see it's coming, and trust me, I like all my players on my field. So before it happens, I might say, "Hey, what'd you jump? Hey, move that hand." I am quite preventative. I mean, you can't stop everything because a player gonna do what they want to do,
Right.
But for me, no, it's not about lenience because defenders are like, hey, I will lick you down. So that's me. It is what it is on the field. No.
Anyone gets crossed, the ball on the man.
You sure?
What about you, Stefan?
well, for me, I'm a kind of a spirit kind of referee.
Mhm.
The vibe of the game kind of referee. So
Right.
today it may be the attackers, and tomorrow it may be the defender. Maybe it's because I played in the midfield. But
Right.
yeah, it's really about the vibe of the game. Sometimes you have the player who is a brat. He may be an attacker. He may
Mm.
be, and sometimes they get a little. You may tend to want to get a little personal with him, and at that point you have to talk to yourself and stay
Right.
being the official in the game. But as Mensa said, you just apply the laws, and over years of being a referee, this question is something that I kind of struggled with in the beginning. the
Mm,
the forward are. But it's really now just applying the game, just applying the laws of the game.
sure, sure. What game would you say stands out for you, Stefan, as being a game that you were involved in officiating that would always stay in your mind, whether it be a good incident, a bad incident, or a different incident? But what game? Because you always have one that really stands out for you. Which one would that be?
Oh, let me share it. So, Crystal, you went by Stets while being in Jamaica recently, right? Down in Saint Elizabeth. I went to Stets whilst I was just breaking onto the scene, where Victor and the other guys would see me. So they gave you a few games, big games. So this was a zonal kind of final, and worst day of my life, possibly. I'm a police officer, and
Uh-huh.
football has put me in more danger than policing has.
Oh wow.
Yes, downpour, rain, 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 rain. A final game. There was an incident in the game where I should have shown a player at least a yellow card. He was on a yellow. What he did was enough for a red, and I didn't show even a yellow. He was still on the game. That player caused me some problems in the game. The home team, so the away team's leading 2-1, and in the sometime around 85th minute, the home team scores or gets the ball into the goal. It's hot, and my assistant goes offside. It's a tight one, and my assistant goes offside. He gets some liquid thrown on him. He
Uh-huh.
smelled like rum because when he came close, it was like rum and all kind of things thrown on him. We're talking now at the end of the game, police escort. We're talking about we can't approach the area where the changing room is, so we had to like stay in the middle of the field.
Right.
I had to send for the car keys to get the car to the middle of the field. Yeah, all of this happened. It was a crazy atmosphere down there. All in pouring rain, standing in the pouring rain, can't get to go and change. Cold now, right?
Right.
And this is halfway across the island, Crystal. So it's a long drive back home in torrential rainfall. That game has never left me. That game has never left me at all. And I tell everybody about that game. That was the game. Saint Best versus Dun Beholden. Dun Beholden is now in the Premier League. That was one of the games that had gotten them. I think that was the game that had sent them to the Premier League playoffs.
Oh.
And so, yeah, tough game. That was the game. It's not a Premier League game, but believe me, it's the toughest one I've done.
Yeah, sure. Mienzo, what one stands out for you?
For me, I think Krista remember the game in Colombia.
Crystal, yeah, and
Colombia,
everybody, yeah, trouble.
Colombia against Jamaica, and Colombia had to win the game to pass through. So Jamaica had nothing to lose, nothing to win, so just play. And I think in the 85th minute, player from Colombia, he was offside, no offside. And then she scored, and then I raised my flag for offside. So the whole stand, everybody throwing, talking, coach into my face, everything. So the referee came to protect me. She did. We walk on the field. We talk about it. I said, I saw outside. Okay, we went back. We do the 5 minutes that left, and after that we had to wait to come out of the stadium because everybody was still angry because Colombia lose the game. So
Oh,
that game, I could never forget that game. That was one of the toughest game I did because I don't know what happened that day, but I can't forget it game. Yeah.
mm. Crystal, your turn. Your
It's always good to hear Mimi stories, because it's how she deals with it. It's a funny part, okay?
sure.
um, what game I have stand up for me? I've never. I mean, not that I don't want to experience those type of things, right?
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
the only game that stand out to me, but now I can adjust it, is being in the cold. My first Olympic qualifiers, yeah,
Mhm.
I can deal with the cold. And actually, I could remember blowing the whistle, and the whistle actually stuck on my lip. I what the heck? So no one heard the whistle because the type of blow it was.
Right.
And my assistant actually had to go up. It was a foul actually. So my
Mm.
assistant had to help me on that one to know that hey, the game has stopped. Actually dried. My lips were dry. Like, oh my goodness. So that has been the
Right.
embarrassing part of my career thus far. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Now, going from all three of you have been players. So, but going from a player to an official, and Stefan, you've mentioned it. You know how sometimes you watch a player, their skill beat another player. How do you make sure you don't get caught up as a spectator when you're officiating? Because there are times where the game's going, especially if you're an assistant referee, the game's in the other half of the field. You know, it's pressure down there. It's all going on, and you've got very little to do, or you know, you end up starting to more or less watch the game as opposed to officiate the game. How do you make sure you stay focused that you're officiating the game and not spectating the game? Crystal?
For me, so I always tell my team, well, once we have the communication, we always try to talk about the game as the game go along. Say, hey, this player have the ball, and so we go in. When we don't have the communication system, I urge them, in order to be in the game, to be talking to the players, right? As for the referee, as for me, yes, Crystal, speak to the players, and I also try to be in the game as a player, even though I'm a referee,
Okay.
right? So you always try to keep reading. Okay, what's next? Okay, this happened. What's next? So that's how I keep alive in the game, though. Yeah. So
Okay.
I am. If I'm asleep, it's because something wrong, and I don't think I want that to happen. I
Mm.
don't know, but no. Yeah, that's what keep me going on the game.
What about you, Mienza?
For me, just like what Krista said, she always expects from us that we need to help her read the game, need to help her look for players and all of that. So if the game is on the other side for a long time, I keep talking to myself if you don't have the communication system. I keep
Mm.
talking to myself, thinking about the restart, thinking about if it is corner, goal kick, thinking about okay, this player is going on the other side. Okay, this player got a yellow card. So I keep talking to myself. And I keep looking at my referee if she's doing a good job. Keep looking for stuff to do in the game. So that keep you not to be boring at the game. So that's what
Mm.
I'm doing. Talking to players if I see players are doing stupid things. Hey, I see you. Don't do it. Don't do it. So those kind of things. Yes.
Mm. Stefan?
Yeah, I concur with the ladies. It's as a referee, it's really about what's next.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? What's next going to happen? So you can't stay in spectator mode for more than a second and a half. You just have to you have to it's almost natural that you snap out of it, because after the skill that you just observe, and it's very entertaining to watch, just after that he may be fouled. Who's to call the foul? You. So you break from it really quickly, because as the referee, it's never what has happened, it's
Mm-hmm.
what's next. So
What's
in
next?
moving, you're talking to yourself. The distraction really comes sometimes if you have a decision that you yourself are questioning. I don't know if you ladies have that, and then you're questioning a decision or a big moment in the game that you made, you decided one way or another, and so it comes back to you a little bit even after it has happened, and that is when sometimes you get a lapse, because you're thinking about something that for me is my distraction at times. And
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of the entertainment from the players, I just have to conceal the smile or the frown, and what's next? It's really what's next. So what's next keeps you focused.
Sure, sure. Mienza, what are some of the things you do to make sure that you remain as fit as you can whenever that phone rings in order to be on international duty?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What are some of the things you do to make sure that you remain fit, whenever that phone call comes to perform international duty?
So first thing is you have to keep training. Right now I'm on a FIFA program, so it's about 6 days in a week, sometimes 5 days in a week. So you have to do it every day. So no rest. You rest when you die. But but you have to do it because you don't want to go low. So
Mm,
if you here, you want to go up. If you go low, it's nothing. So you have to keep going. You have to motivate yourself. I pray a lot.
mm,
I read a lot of the game. I talk to referees. I watch games. So those things help me to stay on the highest level. So that is
mm.
some of the things I'm doing. But training fitness is the first thing because if you can know the law of the game, but if you're not fit, you can't be on the field of play. Trust me, it's too hard. Yeah.
Crystal?
I don't know. I always think I am probably one of the weird person being a referee because my life has so much things I have to do, yet still I have to maintain this fitness.
Right.
Yeah, because okay, I have a 8 3 job. Then I still have to train because of this refereeing career, and then I have my own business that I attend to in the evening times. So sometimes I am tired, and it's like, oh my gosh, you have to get to 5 o'clock to do your morning training because I don't have any time in between.
Mm,
Now I get a little relaxed because I finished school last year. So I was like, okay, maybe that time I can now put for training. But when I hear referees speak about, okay, they have time for training and then games, it's like their life seems so relaxed. Like it's like a flow. I was like, oh boy, I don't think, I don't think I'm seeing that flow. So sometimes I tell myself, you expect to be, I don't have to say, I know for myself I'm at expected level, right? But sometimes, I say maybe probably I am not there because my life is too complex than the others. So I really thank God sometimes, like, Lord, you know what each person's supposed to have. And you probably don't want to give me this because I cannot manage. Because, like Mimi said just now, sometimes she has to manage a 6 days program because she's under such under such. And for me, I know, hey, I can't be disciplined that right now. I can't tell myself I can train 6 days, because it have to be recorded. Paula don't lie. So
True,
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. I am grateful for where I'm at, and I know with that being said, I can still undertake anything. I can still do anything task that comes my way. I can still uphold to it. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Stefan?
Well, so I'm fresh to the list,
Yes.
and if you're fresh to the list, you better be fit. I mean, the there's just no other way. You have to announce first yourself. After you announce yourself, then maybe someone might make some leeway for you down the road. But if
Mhm.
you don't announce yourself, or if the announcement you make is that you are unfit, then you may never be seen again. And in
True.
Jamaica, when we have Danian Parchment and O'Shane Nation as the other male referees, O'Shane Nation it's impossible for this man to be tired. And you just have to keep up with that because you're the next referee, Stefan. You're the next referee. So you will be looked on in comparison to O'Shane Nation and Danian
Mm,
Parchment. And so these guys motivate me. They may not even know how much they motivate me. But yeah, that so it's really the mentality to stay motivated, to be motivated to do it. Because like Crystal, the days are really complicated with work and with family commitments, and the days are really complicated. But you just have to make the time because
mm.
nation.
Well, let me ask you, being that you're the new kid on the block, Stefan, how long did this process take for you to get to where you are today?
So I've been an official for 6 years now.
Mhm.
I went on the poor program in 2020, just before the pandemic struck.
Mhm.
I didn't complete it because the second half of it was during the pandemic, and I think CONCACAF couldn't really focus on that at the time. It was really about getting football actually happening again. So the process, 6 years as an official, about about 5 of those 6 years at the elite level in Jamaica. Um, it's been a tough one because I've had injuries.
Mm.
I've I so this is one of the reasons why I have to stay above in terms of training, because I just can't afford for the injuries to really set in. So I have muscles that I have to keep, stay on top of them. I have to fight them and I have to win. They can't win. And so the journey has been 6 years, but ever since 2019, when I went to the U15s, you kind of knew that this thing is taking some shape. Then to the poor program, this thing is taking some shape. And so for the past 3 years, it has gotten a little more rigorous than the previous 3 years of the six. So yeah.
Okay. And of course, Mianza, you've been Crystal's assistant for a little while. So how is it working with Crystal? You can tell secrets out of school. Don't worry about it. She's listening. How is it working with Crystal?
Excuse me, I
Good,
need to I need to
good.
hear this. I need to hear how is it working with Crystal, right?
Funny. First thing for serious, and
Serious.
after that, the funny part is coming because
Okay.
she
All
has
right.
some face expression where you do something stupid on the field, and she's like, "You better do right." That's the face expression. So you have to be good on the field of play. And other than that, it's always a pleasure to work with her. We always can talk about everything. We capture strange things on the field of play. After the game, we can talk about it and laugh about it. If we make some small mistakes, we can talk about it, yell at each other about it, and after that, make some fun of it. But it's always a pleasure working with her. I'm always smiling when I know I have to work with Crystal. I always smile. Yeah.
Okay, Crystal, your turn. What is it like working with Mianza?
I
Especially
mean,
at the
I
beginning
can
because
say
you struggle with English. So especially at the
I can't say anything different. It was, let me tell you, we came from. I remember my first game with Mimi, strangers. So now I have to learn this assistant personality and how is she on the field, what is her weakness. That was in Haiti, right? Yeah. So, so when she told you that look is because she get that look, so she know how it felt. But no, now we have grown and we have learned each other what's to do, how to synchronize. It has been a development with us. So it's always great when you work with persons from a different country and they learn you so fast. It's easy. Say, hey, Mimi. When they ask you, who would you like to work with? So, of course, I would say Mimi and Steph, because they're the two outsiders from different country who were pick up they know when Crystal needed. Crystal, no, you need to run now.
right.
These, and sometimes these are the things you want as a referee. You may think you're there, but they say no, you're not there. And the help that you need, the support, I would say, yeah.
Okay.
This is
And
always
the other
good.
thing, if I may add something,
Sure.
she doesn't know, but she teach me how to be strong because I'm like soft, and she's like, "You better fix that face. You better get up." So she teach me in one and another way how to be strong and
Okay.
how to fix things and speak English, talk. If I text her and I say something that's not in the English way, she's like, what's that? If I speak too much Dutch and she's right there and she's like, no Dutch, English. So that's why I start to talk more. We talk often on WhatsApp, and that's how I learn English because speaking too much Dutch, you already know Dutch. So you need to
Right.
speak more English to speak English. So she doesn't know, but she teach me a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
now she know.
Stefan, we're learning a lot here tonight. We're learning a lot here tonight.
No, I wanted to interject just now because I heard about the look. Can I get some visuals? Can I see the look
Stefan, tomorrow. I have to give Stefan
before
tomorrow.
it's too
So
late? Can I see the look
I
before
hope
it's too
he's
late?
curious.
Before I get in some trouble?
No, now you're gonna make me Google and try to get these expressions, these facial expressions of Kristen Silver. Well, guys, we're joined now by the head of refereeing in Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Cranston Williams. Mr. Williams, first of all, thank you very much for getting me these three to have this conversation, to kind of pick their brains and enjoy their journey thus far. Any words for these three?
First of all, good evening, everybody. I just want to say thank you to all three of them for agreeing to come on the list. I mean, on the show, sorry. And Stefan, congratulations on finally getting your badge. It's ironic because something popped up on my timeline on Facebook. Stefan and I, before we went to Mexico for Nations League, we had to play a game against DC United. I think it was in U.S. Virgin Islands. And he was one of the referees. And at the time, I didn't know him, so I didn't even realize it. I was like, wow, small world. Then also, he went under 15s with Clinton and Stefan, who now have their badges. So it's a really small world. Congratulations, sir. And to the two ladies, well, I've heard about Mimi from, you're welcome. I've heard about Mimi from when Tashawn and Antoine first went. And so Daniel Parchman, who Stefan mentioned, he gave me the contact for her. And then Miss Serbas, she came on a show we had for the females. And you also want to say thank you because you encouraged Natasha, who's now our first ever female assistant referee. I've been sitting back here watching and listening. I must say you all are very entertaining, extremely entertaining. But I just want to say on behalf of the referees committee at the Bermuda Football Association, thank you for coming on and sharing your words of wisdom and encouragement. I look forward to seeing you guys doing your matches. And two of you should be coming here very, very soon. I'll leave it like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very, very soon. Well, guys, thank you very, very much. I know this year is a very busy year internationally, especially starting next month with so much football to be played, international football to be played, and you guys will play your roles in ensuring that these matches are covered to the best of your ability and to make sure that the games get completed. So I want to wish you all the best. Stay focused. Let's change those facial expressions. And let's all have some fun. But I look forward to sitting and chatting with you again, especially after these first lot of international matches, just to get a feel of being back at those tempos, being back in and around it. And of course, those matches mean so much to so many different countries. And of course, to the officials, because it shows that they have put the work in to reap the rewards of being selected. Because it's not a given. It's something that you have to work towards, and you have to keep working towards it in order to maintain it. So I want to wish you all the best, and we'll be talking with you shortly after those international matches, okay? Have a good night. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.